Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Porch Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 up here to the northwest section of the map, ending with Team 2 down here in the southeast section. Starting off with the westernmost player on Team 1, it is Corbin going first land as a UEF in Pac-Man Yellow, and he is a 1300. To his north in Ruby Red, we have Alt F4 Krayek, or Alt F4 for short. He is going first land as a Seraphim in Ruby Red, and he is a 2100. To his east in glow-in-the-dark green, we have Poseidon going first land as an Aeon, and again, he is in glow-in-the-dark green as an Aeon, and he is a 1000 rated player. To his north, we have the Calm of Paralon going first land in Royal Purple as a UEF. He is a 2100. And last but not least, here for Team 1, we have Buried the Light going first land as a Seraphim in Imperial Gray, and he is an 1800. And apparently Poseidon is playing chess and FAF at the same time. Don't know what that's about, but hopefully he doesn't get too distracted. In terms of racial makeup here for Team 1, we have 2 Seraphim, a UEF, 2 UEF, and 1 Aeon. No Cybran Tech for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2 on the eastern side, we have Lox Polig going first, second, third land in Emerald Green as an Aeon, and he is a 1500. To his south in orange to color orange, excuse me, we have Luker going first land, second air, I think. Yeah, that's second air. And he is a Seraphim, and he is a 2000 rated player in orange to color orange. In the middle for Team 2, we have already on the move Agony with the Y capitalized going first land, probably second, third, fourth, fifth land more forward. He is a 1300 in Chevy Crimson as an Aeon. In the rear for Team 2, we have the player of Wi-Fi going first land, second air, and on the move. He is in the rust color, and he is a 2100. And last but not least, there for Team 2 and the game, we have Lolichan going first land, second air in light oak tan as a Seraphim, and he is a 1500. So for Team 2's racial makeup, we have 2 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, 1 UEF, no Cybran technology for either team in this game. Apologies to those spiky space socialists out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at Reclaim here. So far, before our players scoop it all up, it is currently 69,000. Probably about 70,000 before I got a readout on it. But that is a lot of mass for our players to scoop up. That's at least roughly about 7,000 mass per player. That's a lot of mass. And so hopefully nice distribution of wealth for everybody, but probably not if this is FAF. So we'll take a look here at mass point layouts here. And honestly, again, kind of like yesterday's video, I don't see a lot of kind of mexes that are really on the fringes that are going to be fought over. There is a nice group of 4 on this northeastern section of the map with a couple of mexes kind of in this smiley face looking thing. Kind of reminds me of something out of Space Invaders almost. And I don't really see anything else that's really in contention. There's a couple of mexes here in the middle for both sides, but really there's nothing like in the middle. I mean, if you drew a line straight down, all mexes really are on one side or the other. We do have a PD online here for the player of Corbin. He wants to secure this reclaim field, and I don't blame him. It is a decent chunk of reclaim here. Essentially 9,000 under his purview. There is the comm of Lolichan coming in to try to disrupt that monopoly that the player of Corbin is trying to create. We now have some engineers all the way out from the player of Alt F4 trying to claim some reclaim and just kind of get out some early aggression again with his teammate of Corbin with those mech marines going after those engineers, trying to just deny his opponent reclaim early on. 70,000 mass is a lot of mass to scoop up, so trying to get the lion's share of it is definitely going to be a huge advantage. And currently, Team 2 is in the lead at 9,300 versus essentially 8,000. So Team 2 getting the better end of the deal so far. but they are slowly starting to lose map control. It does look like more units out from Team 2, especially from these eastern players, are making their way further into that middle line and beyond. We have Bury the Light under threat here from a group of units, these Aurora tanks. They're going to actually set up around the locks and have a PD online to ensure he gets this set of reclaim for himself. We have two comms here to the west, kind of just hanging out, not really doing a whole lot. Kind of a missed opportunity there for them to scoop up that reclaim. They're probably just holding position, but still they could be pushing forward and going after this position, but we'll see. Now, it does look like it's going to be a 3v2 scenario here in this north section of the map. We do have a couple bombers out from Team 2. They're going after early engineers and mexes, I would assume. One of them is down. There's actually a flare and a spirit. I want to say Snoop, but that's the UBF version. They are on an intercept course with this base. They won't get a lot of work done, but maybe they could go after, you know, let's say this Mex. That's really about it. That bomber will help assist, but it's targeting those P-gens. It's not really going to get a lot of damage done, unfortunately. There is a third comm appearing here for Team 2. Actually, it's not third comm, it's the second comm. The player of Luker, he gets some plasma thrown in his face by Bury the Light. And he's going straight forward, going to run into that PD and going to probably turn around here pretty shortly. Yep, there he goes. Nah, it's probably not a good idea. Those two comms here in the middle here for Team 1, kind of just hanging out. They need to at least be pushing, building some mexes, doing something. A couple of units here from Team 2's player of Agony have taken the advantage and is actually pushing against Team 1's player of Poseidon's supply lines, taking out some mexes along the way. We have combat down here in the south. It is a 2v1. Corbin is surrounded by a Loli-chan in Wi-Fi. Again, it's a 2v1, and Wi-Fi is going to probably just walk him down. Units incoming here for Corbin will try to dissuade these two comms, but if Wi-Fi takes the brunt of those hits, the comm of Corbin will be down at sub 10 minutes in this game. I'll check back on it in a second. We do have a couple of units down here for, not Poseidon, for Corbin, while units and forces for Loli-chan are distracted. It does look like Loli-chan has started to retreat or just kind of hang back a little bit. Wi-Fi has taken some hits on that comm. Corbin might be able to get out of there relatively unscathed, or at least not dead. So there's that. A PD will come into range here for Loli-chan. Is targeting it directly, but that overstretch will severely diminish his hit points. Bomber over the top almost kills it off. Still holding strong. That PD will... Yep, there it goes. Let's say one more shot. Gun range going down here for the Aeon Commander of Locke. Same thing here for Agony, except he's going for speed first. Team 2 severely pushing into Team 1's front lines. Gun speed and range starts and then gets canceled immediately here for Bury the Light. Team 2 making a nice amount of headway here on this eastern side, essentially almost wrapping all the way around that Space Invader looking thing up there to the northeast. We do have Locks on his second upgrade for speed, while his partner is going for range down here, going for advanced range straight away. So Aeon Sniper Commander on the cards here for Team 2. Loli-chan still pushing forward, is taking a decent hit in those hit points, but is still online. We are at 8 minutes so far in this game. And really, Team 2 has really pushed this eastern side. I would like to see some assistance from Team 1's player of Paralon and Poseidon, or at least kind of divert his comm at least to that direction. It was looking like a 3v2 scenario, but those comms sitting there for a long period of time really opened Team 2. Look at this push. Look at it. Just sweeping across the map. There's really nothing Team 1 can do about this. Speed, damage, and speed and range, not damage and range. Going down here for Luker here to the east. He has claimed this position that was once Bury the Light's. Gun, speed and range, same upgrade going down here for Bury the Light. His upgrade will finish before Luker's. Maybe that will give him an advantage to push him off and maybe stop that upgrade from being completed, but there's a huge push from this player of Locks that just really shove it down Leg's throat. Speed and range going down here for Loli-chan in the southwest section of the map. Wi-Fi just kind of on a reclaim. Probably binge. Yep, going on some more reclaim. Let's take a look at mass per second so far. Team 2 a little bit behind. It's really just kind of teeter-tottering, going back and forth between who is really winning. But that comm of Bury the Light will have to retreat to go after this force over here to the north, which will give time for Luka to finish his upgrade. Overcharges all the time, of course, helping thin those numbers out. Paralon does not have any gun or T2 or any sort of upgrade on that comp, so he's just bare bones. Bury the Light only has that gun upgrade, of course. And now that force here to the south from Luker is pushing against this mechs and intel installation. That's going to fall with one shot. Definitely blind Team 1 to this eastern side. Huge advantage for Team 2. They need to keep building. They need to keep pushing forward if they want to keep this territory for a longer period of time. We do have the Calm of Agony under some shield coverage going after advanced range upgrade Calm of Poseidon. And that Calm might not finish that upgrade. Every shot is 100 hit points. It's really spewing those hit points out pretty quickly. Or those shots pretty quickly. But unit's going to might come and intercept. We'll have to see. But a separate force, a distracting force, is what the Calm is doing, while his main force to the west is going after T2 mexes and kind of just swooping in from the west, cutting off any sort of incoming forces that might come out of Alt F4. But he has gone T3 air and already has it and is building... He's building not the fighter bombers? He's building ASF. He's building ASF. Both players in the rear for Team 1 have T3 air. Team 2 does not have 2 players, only have 1 that has T3, but that's better than none. Team 1 has really focused on getting the tech up, at least in the rear guard. And for Team 1, they still are holding the front lines, but just barely. They are starting to collapse. Gun damage and range does finish it for Paralong. He'll go for T2. He needs triads online. He needs to stop the bleeding. This is a severe push by Team 2. We're even seeing T2 units starting to appear. These Obsidian tanks, very good choice here for Locks wanting to secure that position. And Obsidians, even though they are more expensive, they pack a heck of a lot of hit points, and it takes a while to chew through them. We have units coming in here for Agony going after infrastructure against Corbin. That's his main base there. He's on a nano repair upgrade while his forces engage that of Lolichan to the south. Calm of Wi-Fi has retreated from the front lines. No one has died yet. We've had some pretty close calls, but no one has died yet. And just the Calm of Poseidon is just getting surrounded on all sides. A huge column of units just coming through that main base front line here for Team 1. They're having some T2 Stingers be called forth to deal with a lot of these T1 Thams. And it does look like stuff has started to kind of peter out a little bit, but with the emergence of some PD and more T2 forces, that probably will not stop, at least for a little bit. The Calm is on the front lines building PD. We have the Calm of Barry actually retreating, but intercepting units coming in from this eastern side. They're T2 Blazes. They don't have as many hit points as the Obsidians, but they have hover. They're really mainly used for, pseudo naval units. But at 12 minutes, things have really kicked off. We have front lines just collapsing all the time. We have a counter push here down the south. Lolichan building some Utashalas, or at least trying to, at least kind of failing at that. This southern flank looking kind of vulnerable for Team 2, but Team 1 is dealing with a heck of a lot of bleeding here to this northeast. We have bombers all the way. We have gunships trying to just stem the bleeding. Now forces coming in from Luker are pushing and coming to assist. Locks here to the east. We have Utashalas now here for Team 1, as well as Triad, so a lot of PD trying to be built up to knock these comms off. Locks has that first shield upgrade. He has the Aeon Sniper Commander with a third of its shield? Almost a third, a little over a third of its shield. And now it's a 2v1 scenario here on the front lines. Barry needs to come in and assist his partner, or he's going to suffer a fate. I was going to say worse than death, but his fate will be death. We have bombers over the top. A T3 strap bomber here from the player of Alt F4 that'll really shake things up here for Team 1. They could kill a Calm here at before 15 minutes and really kind of peter this push out. Gunships, Stingers, they don't do a lot of damage, but they sure are wrecking through that Calm's hit points. Sub 2,000 hit points. He's gonna die. There is no rescue coming for him, and that is a kill here for Team 1's player of Paralon, assisted by Alt F4. And now Lox is taking a hit in his shield. Not a huge issue, but the first player of Team 2 has been killed at 13.5 minutes. Down here in the south, that push still back and forth. Both comms in the yellow. One of them has Nano. One of them has T2? T2. So hit points kind of comparable. We have 6,000 versus 9,000, but he does. Corbin does have the better regen on his commander, so it'll take a little minute, but they'll get back up to kind of a more even playing field. But we have a large buildup of units for both of the middle players here. For these players here in the middle, wow, I don't even know what I'm saying now. Poseidon versus Agony. They're actually both going for shield. Very interesting. They both have the advanced range and gun. So very on par with one another. It does look like Agony kind of getting the better end of the deal. Team 2 has a heck of a lot more reclaim than Team 1 does. They've already reclaimed more than the amount of mass that was currently on the map when they started. And now we have a push here from Team 1's combined forces of Paralon and Bury the Light, building mexes to recoup losses. Team 2 really has to either come back and build up a defense or keep pushing. And I feel like defensive measures, a tactical retreat is on the cards here for Lox. He's lost a lot of firepower and a lot of momentum from that death of his teammate. He has gained a second base, so that does give him dual eco. But really, it hasn't amounted to a whole lot in terms of overall. We are seeing the fact that Team 2 does have the better set in terms of overall eco than Team 1 does, leading the pack at about 100 mass, 120 mass per second. And really, it's coming from Wi-Fi. He only has one base, but he has a heck of a lot of mexes upgrading. Constantly has Raz almost finished, but he's really just ecoing it up. We have, of course, Team 2 starting to losing, again, more and more of that front line. We are seeing some momentum here in the middle for the player of Agony, but I don't know. But Lolly has been defeated by Corbin here to the southwest. It was pretty close between both commanders, but Corbin got the better end of the deal with that region, of course, and now another kill against Team 2. It's a 5v3 before 16 minutes here for Team 1. It puts them in a nice position. They don't have to play as aggressively. Team 2 has to come to them at this point. And so a better thing to do would be build a front line, build fire bases, build a lot of shields and defenses, and just eco up. Try to just scale their ecos faster than Team 2, because Team 2, their advantage right now, they have a better eco, and they have less players, which means smaller amount of players have a better control of eco, which doesn't always mean the eco accelerates faster, but usually it does, because you can say, okay, put more resources into T3 mexes, okay, put more resources into mass FAF forms, that kind of thing. You're not as stretched thin with trying to, build units and build eco and build defenses and build all this other stuff. But a force coming in from Team 1's play of Corbin might be really used to just kind of distract. Maybe they'll get a couple of T2 mexes out of it. They'll get at least 1, 2, maybe all 3 of these. That's 18 mass a second. It's a decent chunk, but we're talking about, Team 2's at 500 now. This one barely survives. Pillar is going to take out some build power. Definitely will slow down defensive building and ecoing here for Team 2's player of Wi-Fi. But he has now inherited a second base, and really his eco has scaled up over 300 mass per second. That's a heck of a lot of mass. I would not expect to see maybe a chicken be built here pretty soon by him here. I wouldn't say before 20 minutes, probably about at least before 25. There's no Cybran, so the cheapest experimental above that is the chicken, but Lox is facing against Paralon. Paralon has the UEF shield, 19,000 hit points, and he is getting annihilated here. All of those hit points are now gone. Bury the Light trying to just body block for his teammate here to the east. PD real help assist with forcing this group of units off, but T3 assault bots in form of Harbingers are making their way on that front line. Bury the Light needs his nano upgrade to just really be a force here on the eastern side. With the commander of Paralon here, it will kind of mediate that loss of not having the nano, but he needs to go nano quickly. Lox is just really railing into Bury the Light here, but his shield is going down very quickly, about to lose it. He only has 12,000 hit points after that. Bury the Light will chase after him. I don't think that's a great idea. He really needs to hold up and just kind of build more defenses. They have the advantage with players left alive. You can see that both the northeast and the middle have to attack to really do something. And now Agony is suffering for it. He has taken the entire shield off Poseidon. Agony has not lost his shield yet, so he is fine for the current moment. I wonder where the strap bombs went here for Team 1's player of Alta 4. They probably were shot down, but that one strap bomber early on definitely helped encourage his teammates to just keep pushing against Team 2, and that's what ended up getting that first kill on Luker. But a lot of Harbingers here for Lox. That's a decent chunk. Team 1's player don't have any T3 tech so far. They only have T2. And Paralong does have T3 air, but not T3 ground, so or land. So he needs those Perseus. He needs those Titans. Bury the Light needs those Autumns online, because this is going to be just a tech run over here. He can sense blood in the water. Lox is going to push forward once again. Paralon will have to retreat. Bury the Light trying to just assist with that. Titans trying to do what they can. Overcharges into that chassis of that Commander of Logs. Will push him back a little bit more. Has gotten a rank of veterancy, so now he's at 13,000 hit points instead of 12. Shield is now online, and now it looks like it's going to start being a PD creep here for Team 1. Spy planes over the top getting a nice readout on their opponent's formations and defenses. Does look like there are a couple of T3, I think these are Titans? No, these are Harbingers out here from the player of Agony trying to get some damage done. Looks like a couple mechs were killed off. They're going to try to retreat. Forces are inbound to prevent said retreat. There's actually 2 Harbingers and 1 Redeemer, some AA presence in there. It's actually pretty good because not a lot of players build those Redeemers early on with kind of a raiding force. The Redeemer will die first, but does give its life to protect the Harbingers for now. They have to keep moving, though. They're killing a lot of pillars here, so it's a good trade-off. Couple of T3 for a decent amount of T2. The remaining forces will come in and assist. Agony just kind of holding in his main base. Has an Omni, well, at least gifted over to Wi-Fi because he has more power because of his air grid. But Team 2 is starting to be hemmed in a little bit. They are still trying to make inroads here to the northeast, but the longer this goes on, the longer the buildup comes here for Team 1, the harder it is for Team 2 to punch through. They need an experimental sooner than later. A Colossus would be great, or even just a chicken being gifted over. One or the other would definitely break and at least get one, if not both, of the commanders killed on Team 1. It is 21 minutes in this game. Let me know how you liked the video so far. Please comment down below. Who do you think is going to win? Again, it is a 5v3. Team 1 is still leading the eco by about 100 mass per second. And if you haven't hit that sub button and you're enjoying the video so far, I would greatly encourage you to do so. ASO forces for Team 1 are starting to be built up quite nicely. Does look like Team 2's player of Wi-Fi. I don't think he has the superior numbers, but they're definitely comparable. 100, I'd say 100 even to make the math easier, versus 45 and 59. So Team 1 winning by maybe 10 ASFs or so. And really all that comes down to is if Wi-Fi can get a nice engage and a couple nice turns in there, he will win that air fight. But he is building up his air grid quite nicely. That is a decent size air grid for him. And getting those T2 mass fabs double ringed around those T3 mechs. He's really scaling his eco up. He has to be careful though, because those are prime targets for bombers and other things to just go after. So maybe a shield or two. If Team 1 decides to build a Novax, a lot of those will die. Korban still on the front lines, does not want to lead his forces from the sidelines or in the rear, but on the front line. Obsidian's being used as the tanks to tank the damage for the Harbingers who have the better damage. We have some engineers on the way here from Alt F4 to get some reclaim. Maybe he'll build some Utashalas for his teammate, who knows. Would be nice to see kind of some dual defenses going on, but he's really struggling here. It's essentially a 2v1 without Wi-Fi really pushing. It was a 2v1 for a while, but he was able to kill off one of his opponents, at least, of Lolly-chan. But a force here of Harbingers are cutting through that defensive line. There's a nice wall where those comms of Paralon and Bury the Light were sitting there. Was it Bury the Light? No, it was Poseidon were sitting there. And, of course, we have these T3. I heard a bomb go off. And the comm of Korban dies to Agony. Looks like he pushed too far forward and was killed because of it. A lot of T3 Harbingers probably just overestimated his comms ability. And the Harbingers are breaking this front line on this secondary line. A decent amount of PD has been built up to defend the base. It will do a lot. A couple of mexes will die in the exchange, but the broadsword power here from the UEF player of Paralon really making its presence known here. Just churning through all of these Harbingers. Even though they're T3 and even though they have shields, they just do massive amounts of damage. A couple of volters appear here for Alt F4. That's always nice. Harbinger dies. A couple of build power will die. Will they get the P-Gen? Yes, they will, but they'll kill some of themselves in the process. But honestly, for that push, losing one Mex, a P-Gen, Couple of engineers, not really a huge issue. And now we're going to see Team 1 make more of a focus on defending this side of the map. A couple of Harbingers are still making their way through the map. There is a Oblivion turret shooting at them, taking out the shield of one of them. But not really a huge threat here overall. Maybe they'll get a Mechs or two. ASF forces have been given over to Paralon. He has the broadswords to really just make Team 2's day not so great. Looks like ASF Ford's going to come in and protect those broadswords. Maybe they'll go after the comm directly. I don't know if that's the best idea. Giving more eco to Wi-Fi is probably not the greatest idea in this game so far. But if they kill all the comms, then it doesn't really matter. They are targeting the comm directly. Lox is under threat. Is that a nuke that just went off? No. Okay. But Lox, Poig will go down to broadsword fire. There he goes. He really was just caught unaware. Such an obscure thing. We lost this. I don't think you've lost it quite as yet. You know, it is a 5v2, but you have a 1300 and a 2100 left remaining. So, I mean, Wi-Fi is really just pumping out his eco. 900 now mass a second and climbing quickly. You know, Team 1, they're conquering the, is it not supremacy, but the assassination game with going after all of the commanders. But Team 2, I mean, if he plays the long game, which I think he's doing, he'll have a lot of mass available to him to just churn into whatever. I could see him maybe going Maver, but he does need to show up a lot of frontline defenses. I would even feel like giving over this base to Agony so he can concentrate on this western push, because he's doing a lot of work here. We have some Ilseys and some Thams pushing forward to go after some infrastructure. We have this push here from him as well, with these Harbingers kind of just distracting and kind of just being annoying. Alt F4 now has control over the southern side that was once Corbin's. It's not going to be a perfect game if Team 1 ends up winning this, because they did lose a player. Oh, flawless, not perfect. Sorry, flawless. And these Authams are starting to overpower these Harbingers, and they're going to go after those Mechs after that. But the comm of Buried Light is pretty far forward. 4-star comm, doesn't have nano, kind of suffering in the hit point department, and has no shields around him. Kind of a risky play by him. He needs a lot more assistance. We do see an interesting development up here to the northeast. One land factor with a couple of engineers and a radar just to kind of detect what's going on over there, because no one else is using it, so you might as well just ensure that there's no not spy planes, but strap bombers or gunships using that path for kind of not pincering, but flanking maneuvers. Just by the fact that they are 2000, they don't just take all the reclaim mid and they will come back. That's how it felt. I don't know. I feel like with 2000 reclaim, I mean, yeah, the reclaim, not that they would win entirely, but they definitely have a huge advantage though. There is a Colossus under construction that was started by the player of Lox, but those bombers, those gunships will have to retreat in the presence of the AA. But those Authams will keep pushing forward. There aren't a lot of ground defenses, and so these Authams will get a lot of work done, but there are Harbingers appearing all the time here, so I mean, this force will get whittled down quite quickly. There are some Ilshis in there as well. Man, those things are so annoying to deal with. They are getting churned through pretty quickly. The Authams have been targeted. They're almost down. Once the Authams are gone, that's really the main threat. Maybe they'll get a TMD. No, they won't. And that is that force there has been destroyed. In terms of map control, Team 1 is now winning. Team 2 is starting to come back in the southwestern section, but again, there's not really a whole lot to fight over. A couple of Mechs points. That's really it. I mean, you can see the wide breadth of just dead space over there to the west side. And Team 1 has started to plug this middle section a little bit with their commanders. Would not recommend that strategy. Would like to see some, either a wall or defenses or something. But Team 1, are they planning anything in their bases? We have a Colossus, an Awasher that's in the yellow. A little over half done here for Alt F4. Nothing back here. Air grid being built here by Paralon. And a chicken being built by Bury the Light. Good to see that going online as well. So Team 2 looks like they only have that Colossus under construction. Looks like a secondary. Oh, no, it's a mass fab farm. Right? No, it's a mass fab in conjunction with land forces. Interesting. It's very volatile, though. Would not recommend that not being shielded. I would recommend that being shielded. I would not recommend it not being shielded. Double negatives. Chicken production looks like it's going to be started here pretty soon for Wi-Fi. And he himself has over 1,000 mass a second. Team 2 is still winning the mass generation game by over at least 200, if not 300 mass per second. That's a decent amount of mass, especially at 28 minutes. We have an SMD online and is half loaded. I didn't see any nukes that are being built or have been loaded at least. The Team 2 will be fine in that regard if Team 1 decides to go that route. There is that Allwasher who is about to be finished by Alt F4 himself. And I would like to see at least more AA, at least for both teams. I do see kind of a haphazardly placed at SAM force. 9 of them. Nice. Would like to see probably double or triple that. But it is a nice, kind of, it's spread out. You can take multiple layers of aircraft coming at you. Would like to kind of extend that a little bit further to the east, but we are seeing that in the form of Wi-Fi, but you can just see kind of just kind of really just spreading them out. You can see he has 11 over here to the east. Actually, he has more in the form of Aeon version, so he has 11. So, I mean, we are starting to see a lot of AAB placed on notice for both teams, but that Colossus being finished here to the east might draw the attention of that Allwasher. Well, it is already over here, to be fair, going after some Harbingers. Looks like that's the target. There isn't a lot of AA in the mix. Kind of a missed opportunity here for Wi-Fi. There goes that bomb. They're trying to split the forces to try to mitigate the explosion. There it goes. Takes out all of the Harbingers to the east with the Colossus. Now the gunships are targeting the Colossus directly while the ASF force fights overhead of those other Harbingers. It does look like Team 1 has a larger group of them. That bomber will stay out of range for now. Transfer of control was given to Paralon. Does look like Alt F4 is taking more of a back seat approach while Paralon does the more micro position, which is very good to just have one player focus on microing air while the other player focuses on either building it or doing other things. But this is a nice grouping of Harbingers that could be killed off. Where is that thing going? It's going southwest to this position for Alt F4. Yeah, that's where it's going. We have some Volthu gunships on approach. Those Harbingers needed to be dealt with, but the gunships are pulling back to deal with that. At least the reclaim is in Team 2 side of things, so they won't entirely lose out. There goes that bomb. Will miss a decent amount of those forces, though, but the Volthu is really struggling. Those Othams have a decent amount of hit points. But there are some Percys in the mix as well. Looks like the Othams are targeting the PD first. I would take out the... wasn't the best idea. Had some forces surrounding that P-Gen. Took out a couple of those tanks. Took out some Percys too, but the Continental have been destroyed. Looks like there possibly was a hot drop scenario on the cards here with some Percys. I mean, that would have been an interesting play, but it would have taken a while, and Wi-Fi probably would have noticed it. That his main threat right now, referencing Wi-Fi, is this Allwasher, though. The ASF are going after the Volthus, though, which is a prime opportunity for that Allwasher bomber to be used. Looks like the Harbingers are going after that reclaim, and all but one are killed off. Still reduces that reclaim a little bit just due to the fact that it was targeted and damage was done to it. This position has essentially fallen for for Alt F4. The Team 1 has lost essentially a core mass worth of, mass. And the broadswords are just going to be annihilated. There's not a lot of ASF here for Team 1 to really fight against this. Paralon has to pull these back. It does look like there are more SAM sites being built as we speak. Both teams are using that kind of spread them out approach instead of giant lines of them, which, you get better coverage, but you don't get as much damage versus like just dragging just a straight line. A straight line gives you more damage, but not a lot of coverage overall, at least in the short term. Bomber drops again, takes out a huge number of land forces here against Agony. This thing has killed 52,000 mass and 69 kills. That's a very interesting number of kills there for that bomber. He's building a second one. I mean, it's been effective so far. You might as well, right? Looks like it's still going. Okay, it looks like it was stopped for a second. Grass on the way here for Bury the Light. There are a couple of pawns in this game to kind of hide some comms. Team 1 is doing that here with Bury the Light's commander, but there are going to be kind of They're not very deep, just very shallow, so an all-washer bomber can still strike that, so be aware of that for Bury the Light. But of course he is pushing with his chicken to the east. Team 2 building lines of PD. I was referencing that, but in terms of SAM sites, the issue with this is they group together, and that AoE explosion on those slow-firing and medium-firing guns definitely pack a punch, and so you can kill lots and lots of defenses very quickly. The Air Force 4 Team 2 has been rebuilt and is actually probably accelerating at this point, overtaking the ones for Team 1. The Team 1 has to be very careful with using their all-washer bomber. They don't want to just throw it away, and I don't even see it. Is there something I'm missing here? No, that's mad. I hear it being fired. I just can't tell where it's firing at. Over here to the west, I see it. Okay, I think it was off map for a second, going after some Othams to the west. But that chicken is kind of slow moving forward, and due to that, the Oblivions aren't in range, targeting everything in its path. There's a T2 Mechs fully ringed up here that's kind of hanging out. Wi-Fi has built his first, actually probably second experimental, and it is, where is it? Is it to the west? Is it a chicken? Oh, there's 2 chickens here to the west, so that's a lot of firepower here for him to use. Again, would like to see maybe the space transferred over to Wi-Fi just so he can micro the west side a lot better, but now that all-washer bomber now targeting Agony's main base, that Oblivion, that Omni station is a big target for Team 1 if they could take it out. Blind Team 2, always a good idea. If your opponent can't see, you can't shoot. If you can't shoot, then you can't fight back. If you can't fight back, you can just roll right over the chicken trying to dance, but really it's just, I mean, some of the shots are missing, but a lot of them are really hitting it, so I get what he's doing, trying to get in the middle of this, and honestly, that would have been the better idea, with just to charge forward, kill some Harbingers, kill some defenses, and let the Ion Storm do the rest. But he will retreat, and that chicken will just die anyways. Down to 7,000 hit points. It's regenerating slowly, but it's trying to. Looks like there are forces prepping in for it, going after these Harbingers. I think Agony, I mean, that was a good move to go after the chicken, but honestly, it's now pulled his forces out of position. And now here comes the all-washer bomber once again, up to 118 kills. There's a decent amount of AA in the area, though, from these Redeemers. Now is up to 133. And there he goes, just churning through those Harbingers. It should push the chicken forward no matter what, just due to the fact that those Harbingers are going to try to retreat anyways. They're targeting the Othams first, which you could have just targeted the chicken and killed the chicken and then have the Ion Storm kill everything else, but not the worst idea. We do have another chicken to the west, though, which is probably what they were worried about. Sniper bots just taking pot shots at their opponents here to the north. But that second all-washer should have been completed at... Yep, there it is. No, that's a defense satellite. That's an OVAX. Where's the all-washer? Oh, it's over here. Oh, that's why, because it was a different color. Not helpful when you give control over units and then expect that unit to be a certain color, and it's not that certain color because you've gifted it over and you haven't done that yet. Anyway. Fresh chicken here on the front lines. The Harbingers have retreated behind Oblivion turrets. I'm trying to figure out what's the most important. There's another push here to the west with a Colossus in tow. 2 chickens, but with an all-washer in the air. That first chicken will die. There he goes. And that Ion Storm will go off next to that other chicken. That Colossus will go down, though. There goes the Ion Storm targeting some nearby units. Not doing a heck of a lot of damage, but, you know, any damage is better than none. Does look like Team 2 will engage. That is a heck of a lot of air forces here for Wi-Fi. 371. Team 1 definitely does not have enough air forces to really deal with this. Only 114. There is a branch of ASF going after the all-washer bombers. The first one will die out. Had 137 kills on board before it fell from the sky. The second one will probably be targeted. You need to get that second one out of here before it... Oh, no, never mind. It's gone. There it goes. This one only had 7 kills. They won't go after it. Surprising. And Team 2 finally has a nice victory under their belts. They have air control. I mean, it's pretty close to dominance. I mean, no, it is dominance. They have air dominance for now. Team 1 really needs to rank up, not rank up, but gear up and speed up their ASF production. And there goes the second all-washer. It should have just been brought back to base, just hid under a SAM site / AA defenses. But Ooh, a lot of those ASFs are being dealt with, though. No, there goes the Awasher, though. Oh, it's close, though. 6,000 hit points. All some ASFs do is turn around. Ooh, it was a nice gamble. How many ASFs does that leave Wi-Fi? Only 129. Still has an advantage, but he's winning a lot on this western side on land, though. 3 chickens with a couple of Optims and shields in tow. Team 1 really doesn't have a lot to defend with. There is that satellite I was talking about earlier going after those mass fabs surrounding those T3 Mechs. Which the T3 Mechs are still online, but 18 versus the 27 they could be getting. But SAM-Site's just really churning into those ASFs. We have some Ravagers here on the front line. I don't think there's enough for this chicken to really do a whole lot with. The chicken trying to dance, kind of just go back and forth. Try to miss some shots from the Ravager, but 2 more on their way. There is a Colossus in tow to assist. The Awasher Bomber will come assist as well. Lightning tanks do fire into it. Will they kill it off? No, they won't. The AA was destroyed before they recharged. The ASF might come and engage. That's probably not the best idea here for Wi-Fi. There's a lot of SAM sites and AA pressure that he needs to watch out for. But those 2 chickens, actually 3 chickens, excuse me, will still keep pushing forward. That's a huge hole for Team 1 to kind of plug. And now there's a counter push again here to the east by Team 2's Combined Forces of Agony and Wi-Fi. Team 2 is not out of this, but there's a heck of a lot of T3 broadswords on the way. Look at this force. They're just inbound for this position. Rolling Thunder, essentially. I had a video, I think it was a month or so ago, that had essentially the same image, but even more gunships. And they're just going to barrel through and kill everything in their way. Did not mean to do that. There we go. And there goes that gunship. There goes that gunship. There goes that experimental. Not all of them are firing, though. You need to get them in and around that chicken, but that thing is falling fairly quickly. To the west, those chickens still pushing forward. One of them did die off to the Colossus. The Colossus did die, though. The second one about to die, but a fourth one on its way. Counter broadsword pressure is coming in here from Paralon. He'll kill the essentially dead one already. Gets a rank efficiency very quickly and then dies. But there goes that broadsword horde. Keep pushing forward. ASF's guarding it. Team 1 has to devote its attention to this. Don't bring the Awasher Bomber into this. It's probably not... Is he trying to bomb nearby? He does take a section of them out, so that bomb is high enough to kill it, but there goes the bomber anyways. Wasn't the best idea in my opinion. There goes the SAM site as well. Does look like Team 1 will hold off that push from those gunships, but they're bleeding on the ground still. You know, it's kind of a back and forth with that Air Force. Team 2's player of Wi-Fi really just churned out multiple air bases and just is not stopping anytime soon. In terms of mass, we're at 1.7 to 1.6. Team 1 has closed that gap ever so slightly. Another chicken online here for Altair 4. He has a nuke as well. Team 1 still only has that one satellite. And mass FAF farms being produced as well. Would like to see them shielded, but, you know, it's better than nothing. I don't see chickens are being produced constantly here for light. And I don't see any game enders, though. We should be seeing that, you know, turn in the game here pretty soon. You know, this would be a nice position for maybe a artillery. Just kind of because it's not off. It's off the mainland. It's really hard to get up there with experimentals unless they fly. Colossus being built. I don't really see... This isn't game ender... I mean, it should be game ender mass. But I don't see anybody really trying to build one yet. I kind of feel like the first one who builds it might win the game. I mean, if Team 1 builds it first, they might win the game outright. But if Team 2, essentially Wi-Fi, builds it, it might solidify at least his lead and maybe will really make some inroads. He has made a decent amount of effort and really started to just hone in Team 1, and Team 2 really capitalizing on it. But again, it's not about controlling the land, it's about winning the game. And so if you own 75% of the map, but Team 1 or the other team has like a huge shield base, nigh on impenetrable, artillery, nukes, it really doesn't matter how much map control you have. That thing's going to kill you anyway. But 3 experimental chickens are on their way with assisting T1 forces and one Otham. Just one. Oh, there's another one back there, but just one. Looks like there's going to be a massive retreat. A lot of reclaims so far on the map still. What are we at now? We started 69,000. Now we're at 233,000. That's a heck of a lot of mass for our players to scoop up. In terms of totals for reclaim, we're talking about 4. Wow, Team 1 has accelerated. They've doubled Team 2's total from earlier on. It's now 400,000 reclaim versus 200. That is keeping Team 1 in this game. You know, they're jumping to, 3,000 mass a second just due to reclaim. That engineer will die. The Harmagers will use their engineering suites to scoop up that reclaim. But 3 chickens to the east, really pushing Team 2 back. Those gunships have multiplied. They're like rabbits. And there's even more of them now. They are en route, and they are hungry. You can see them just, the shadows alone. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, no. Stop moving. They're just really punishing Team 1 with their gunships. Look at this pressure. The horde of gunships will not stop. There is some AA and their flag specifically on those chickens. Team 2 does not want to fully commit because Team 1 has a nice Air Force nearby to assist. That's just why. 132. 132 gunships versus, let's see how much ASF just Alt F4 has. And then how many does Paralon have? Okay, I was going to say, he has more gunships than Team 1 has ASFs, but that's not the case. It would have been funny, though, but it is not the case. Awasher Bomber is still under construction. The Nuke is 3/4 the way loaded. Team 2 is pretty protected, though. They have an it's destined to be here, here. There isn't one in the main base, though. Kind of an oversight. I know it's kind of tempting to just use one, very forward SMD to protect bases in the back line, but if those 2 fall, specifically this one, that base is gone. So building it back up in your base is better than not building it back up and losing your front line. But Team 2 has built their own Awasha, and it is on its way with a collision course of those experimentals and walking. They're not spiders, but they're pretty close. Impacts the shield, takes out a decent chunk of those units, though. ASF's coming to guard that, but now Team 2 has a gunship and Awasher that can be very useful for distracting ASFs. And those gunships really want to attack those chickens, but they just can't risk it. And Team 2 is, Wi-Fi specifically, is using that as an advantage to him. If those ASF engage, probably not the best idea. Yep. Called off. Another section of those land forces are gone. Artie says agony. Team 1 has built, or at least almost built, a Duke. Needs more shielding. That will always be my criticism. Doesn't matter if you have 10 shields, 30 shields, 100 shields. I will always say needs more shielding. Because you can never, ever, ever, ever have enough. You also have to have the power to back it up, but you can never have enough shields in general. 1 chicken versus 2. 1 severely wounded, though. I think its main course of action is just to run into those chickens. Awasher over top did a little bit of damage. It's not even close to those chickens. Team 1 trying to shield their Awasher. Team 2 has theirs. Push to the east. I think the gunship's are going to go for it with the Awasher support. It is on a collision course with that front line. Bomb drops, takes out, don't know, an engineer, I guess. Oh, this is a perfect opportunity. Team 1 just needs to turn around and go for it. And they're going to go for it. The pings go down to target it. There it goes. Oh, they don't fully commit, though. Oh, no, they do. Now the ASF fight ensues. Team 2 will protect its gunships. Team 1 does have the better numbers. They are fighting under some SAM protection, but Team 1's ASF ship from Alt F4 might have to engage to help assist. It's going to be tight. Ooh, Team 1 does look like they're going to come out on top, though. Team 2 protected their gunships and their bomber, surprisingly. That satellite still being annoying here for Team 2. They're building. There it is. There it is, folks. There is the holographic image for the T4 artillery experimental of the Mave. We haven't seen that in a very long time. Awasher now doesn't really have to worry about a lot of AA from the air, just the ground. Takes out a section of those land forces, but 5 chickens. There are 5 chickens. They man, everything in this game is just multiplying like rabbits. The Duke has finished. Team 2, of course, knows that Team 1 knows about the Maver. They need more shielding, and they need it now. Team 2's player of Wi-Fi does have the eco to support this, and a heck of a lot more. Oh, those are the Rambo comms. I don't like it when they do that. Please change the notification for the noise or the noise sound file, so I don't think it's a comm exploding. I know it's a little bit shallower. It's not as loud, but it still is about the same. Of course, the satellite is targeting the engineers. Needs more shielding, though. One Duke isn't going to punch through that shielding alone, but if Team 1 builds a couple more artillery emplacements, it really will. Of course, the T3 already benefits from the adjacency of P-Gens to increase its reload speed. I don't know if it messes with accuracy. It would have to be a thing for the viewers for you guys to comment about. I know it modify or it increases fire rate. I don't know if it increases accuracy. I think it was, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me know down in the comments if T3 power gens affect accuracy. I know they affect fire rate, but they affect accuracy as well. There we go. The ASF are trying to chase down that experimental bomber, but it's just staying kind of barely out of range. Those chickens are making a huge effort, though. Really just trying to push this front line once again. And really kind of just struggling to do so. They need to keep pushing forward. There's a Colossus to the west. One chicken will die. That Colossus gets a rank of veterancy. The second chicken will die. I was going to have to wait for a second. But it's really being overwhelmed by T3 forces NPD. Team 1 cannot catch a break in breaking that formation. But 5-6 chickens on the western side with 4 Colossus in tow. I mean, Team 2, they lost the Maver. Oh, that sucks. It's disappointing to watch. It looks like it was enough to break through. Very disappointing. I told you, Wi-Fi, you needed more shields. I haven't seen a Maver built in a minute, so it's always fun to watch them be built. And first chicken is down. Second chicken is down. First Colossus is down. Second one very wounded. 3 and 4 still kind of, holding in there. Gunships need to come in and assist right now. A bunch of sniper bots in the back helping assist. The second Colossus is down. Let's see, the fourth one will die. The third one will die, and the fourth one will die. 3 chickens still online. Team 1 needs to deal with it, and they need to deal with it now. Again, 1 artillery isn't going to make a huge amount, but if the satellite can target the P-Gen / the shield generators, like this one in the middle, it definitely will amount to a heck of a lot of work. Because the Duke will take out the charge for the shield, and then the satellite will take out either the shield emitter itself or the P-Gens to help get a cascade effect. And there it goes. There goes the first one. There goes the second and third one. Lost some shield strength there. We'll go on to the next position. Team 1 trying to be very surgical with how they attack that base. If they can eliminate Wi-Fi's air grid, it really nullifies Team 2's ability to really fight back in this game. The satellite is almost reloaded. It's going after the P-Gens. Go after the emitters. No! No! Oh, there was a couple shields he could have gone after. Ah, it's disappointing. Those chickens still pushing forward, though, getting into the main production facilities for those Colossi. Massive amounts of T1 bomber spam trying to just delay their approach. Not really working in that regard. There are those gunships starting to raid that front line. Team 1 struggling to plug the holes. They have one about ready to form here on the eastern side. There's another chicken coming in to support, fully healed up. Well, it's at full health. Actually, it's not healed up. Second chicken dies. Third chicken will get a rank of veterancy and help kind of stave off incoming threat. There comes the Awasher bomber going after the chicken, I would assume. Stops to move, though. Not the best idea under SAM coverage. That's not a good idea. Landing it doesn't do anything. SAM sites can still target ground units that are just kind of sitting there. The ASF fight over the top here for this western side, trying to protect the gunships. That's a heck of a lot of gunship. Team 1 needs some defenses. The nuke will release. Go after this position. There's nothing here anymore. The gunships will go after that airbase. I think the comm of Alt F4 is under threat. And yes, he is. He's going to just walk into it. Chicken opens up. hits him but doesn't kill him. That airbase is gone. And I think the gunships are going after that artillery. Team 1 needs to put everything they can into this. The comm of Alt F4 dies to that ion storm or gunship. I think it was more the ion storm. But the comm of Paralon is under threat. His Duke is under threat. Oh, this is a huge grab by Team 2's player of Wi-Fi. Took out an entire player to the west. Taking out, using those Rambo comms to just solidify that position. There goes the Duke. Now he's targeting the air grid. And then he'll probably go after the Novex. There goes that air grid. There's still a decent amount of gunships left going after the comm directly. His shield will fall very quickly. And there he goes. He needs to move like an inch over. There goes the secondary shield to help assist. There's a couple of AA still on line to help assist. Will he stave off the threat? There's a couple more flak emplacements helping to assist. A couple more gunships still online. They'll retreat. More gunships will come in and probably assist. And there's now... Oh, there's artillery installations online here. There's 2 of them. Didn't even notice that. That probably was assisting in taking out that Mabor. But the satellite, will it be taken out? There's 1 gunship. Oh, there's 2 more, a couple more coming in. They'll take out the Novax. They lost the Novax and a Duke and an entire player's worth of eco plus base. Team 2's player of Wi-Fi is starting to lose his air grid as well. Looks like he was building another artillery emplacement. At least that's what it looks like. And man, that's really been such a role, not a role reversal, but such just a, Team 2 was losing their air grid. Team 1 lost their air grid. Essentially all both players have is whatever Team 2 can just pump out before it all goes up in smoke. Trying to build more P-gens to assist in getting that eco back online. He still has a lot of eco, so why is he building P-gens? Maybe that was a misclick. Maybe he meant to build shield. But still, that was a huge grab by that gunship horde. But Chicken's still roaming the map. Wi-Fi might pull it out still. He's starting to hem in Team 1. Essentially, Light and Paralon are left standing. We have the comm of Poseidon under threat for some Rambo comms. Ravagers nearby. It does look like Poseidon's just going to sit there and take it. Doesn't have a lot of forces left. Doesn't have a lot of infrastructure left. Is only producing 1 mass a second. But still, the mass incomes. Team 1's still in the lead despite Bomber will come in. Try to hover bomb. Impacts the shield. Does not take out the shield entirely. Now a lot of lightning tanks will open up. That's going to hurt. But more chickens are en route. Chickens have it this day. Those front lines have fallen. The secondary lines have fallen. Tertiary or backup lines are under threat now. The comm of Poseidon does fall to those Rambo comms. It is now a 2v2. 53 minutes on the clock. We have Chickens underneath shield coverage trying to stave off incoming threats, targeting the experimental first, of course. Artillery still trying to pump out as many shells as it can. Trying to just stave off whatever threat it can, but the shields are coming back online, and he's building that Mabor again. I knew he would do something like that. But Wi-Fi, I don't think you need to worry about that. Team 1 is really kind of cornered now. That push from those gunships really just solidified his position, and now it's just the beginning of the end. There comes that all-washer bomber inbound. The shield comes online just barely in time. There it goes. More and more shells still being released from their housing. There it goes. The last shell went out. It was probably not enough to kill anybody, unfortunately. But 4 more chickens to the west from Wi-Fi. That nuke didn't really amount to anything. There goes the mass FAF farm. Team 1's play of Light has been reduced to some chickens and AA and a couple of mass extractors. And now the last semi-base still online here for Team 1. It is Paralon. He's suffering power issues. He's trying to build multiple things at the same time. Not really working. Chickens are under threat. Barry the Light. Control K's knowing that the game is over for him. Those 4 chickens are inbound, and I'll turn off all the little icons. GG's in chat from Luker and from Agony. You can see that Ravager fire open up. It's going to kill a chicken pretty quickly. Should be dying here right about... Oh, wow, it's still not dead. That's surprising. There it goes. Now it's dead. But there go the chickens, and there go the ion storms. Rascom's going down. Rambo comes coming in here from Agony as well to assist. The second chicken, it's going to take a while to chew through those hit points. It doesn't really matter. Everything's opening up. No one's building anything. It's just about defense. The second chicken is down. Parallon, his comm, just barreling forward, wanting to assist. He's going to get caught up in that ion storm. There he goes. He'll die by ion storm. There he goes. Kaboom. And that is not how I thought this game would go. I thought, just due to the fact that Team 2 had lost 3 players, Team 1 was really just going to eco up and just build artillery, which they ended up doing, to be fair. But Team 2's player of Wi-Fi did not give up. He was halfway done to a Maver. Would have liked to see that finished off. But, man, that was a huge amount of effort by Team 2 to stay in this game. And, again, for underrated player of the game, I mean, we have 2,000 in here, so I'm not necessarily going to give it to them. I feel like Corbin did a very good job on this western side, holding off essentially a 2v1. He did this amount of work. After he died, obviously everything was gifted over to AFK. Not AFK, Alt F4, not AFK. Let's see. Lox did a decent he did a decent job as well. I'm just trying to think, who do I give it to? Man, Wi-Fi, 5 million points, not that points really means anything. But, man, look at that. Just really just churned it out for his team. Really just shoved it down their throat of their opponent. And I feel like the underrip, I'm going to say I'll do MVP. Because of this high-ranking players in this game, I'll do MVP. MVP goes to Wi-Fi. Straight up. He did so much with what he had. He was gifted, given mass and gifted, bases throughout the game just due to fallen players, and really just turned it all into eco and just shoved it and just went, I'm not stopping till you're dead. And as evidence, he did not stop till he killed his opponent. So I'm going to give the MVP to Wi-Fi. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree or have any other opinions about, well, anything else that happened in this game. If you liked the video, please do so by clicking that like button down below. Sub to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have done so already, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see all of you wonderful people in the next one.